Hello. Hello, hello. Come on in, guys. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Hi there, for those of you that are already viewing. Hello to my Facebook Live audience. Hello, hello. You guys can come on over here to YouTube and get the full gasp of everything. But say hi, everybody, to our Facebook viewers, all of those that are viewing on Facebook right now. We are so glad that you guys are here. I'm glad everybody is here. Come on over, come on in. Hey, listen, guys, it's going to be an awesome episode as usual. So go ahead and share the link. Hit that share button. Let everybody know that we are here. We are here. We are here. It is it's Pride Week here in Orlando. Pride weekend. It's been an awesome weekend. Yesterday was the Pride Festival with the parade. It was a wonderful time of year. I always love Pride because it's that one time of the year that you get the opportunity to see beautiful faces of beautiful people, and they get to be exactly who they are, and it really brings me a lot of joy. So we had Pride here, and I heard it was Pride in Atlanta. I saw some really awesome live videos. It looks like they were doing it big there. So it's Pride time, guys. Hey! And Pride includes transgender pride, in my book at least. So hi, 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 hello, 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 hello. How is everybody doing? Let me check and see who's here so far. Check in, guys. If you're here, say hi. Hit that comment button. If this is your first time here, we're very interactive here. So I like to speak with you guys just as much as I'm speaking to you. So if you're here, go ahead and hit the button and let us know that you're here and you're visiting today. Hey, Vivian, so glad you're here. Thanks for always being here. Nikki, my sister Nikki is here. She's watching. Hey, sis, what's going on? Cece, of course, Cece's here. She's like my biggest fan of the show, and I love her to death. Thank you, Cece, for your support. You've been here since the beginning. Thank you. Hi, hello, hello. Hi, husband. My husband went to the store to get me some cigars so I could smoke. So he'll be back soon. So that's why you guys see him commenting there. Hi, husband. Hey, Robert Z. Robert Z is on. Hello again to all of the Facebook Live viewers. If you are watching on Facebook Live, we appreciate you being here. Come on over to YouTube so you get the full grasp of what's going on, okay? Let's see who else is here. Hey, Ken Terrell. Good evening. Thank you. You too have been a supporter since day one. And I just want you guys to know that I appreciate you. I appreciate you all for being here. So glad you guys are here. It's going to be a great episode. Today, we are going to talk about being Black, being educated, and then happening to be trans. You know, being trans is just another part of the whole thing. So it doesn't define who we are, but we are definitely Black first, and we are definitely educated first. So that's what we're here for today. It's going to be an awesome show. Got a great panel lined up. I just had a pre-show meeting with them not too long ago. They're pumped up. They're excited. I'm super excited to see where the show goes. So, and I'm glad that you guys are all here. First, though, first things first, let me say that, first of all, I want to tell you guys to make sure you vote. The importance of voting is so crucial right now. It does not matter who you are. It doesn't matter that you believe that your vote doesn't count. I am telling you as a friend and as a sister on the Trans Sister Radio Show that your vote does matter. So make sure that you guys are getting out and voting. The midterm elections are next month, and it is so vital that you vote. And I never tell someone what party to vote for because that's not my place. So what I will say is do your research and then vote for the person that sits right in your spirit. In everything, vote for everything that sits right in your spirit, okay? Trust your gut, trust your instincts, do your research. It's so important. But I cannot express the importance of voting. Last week on the show, we had Florida House of Representatives lawmaker Carlos Smith, who just got engaged yesterday at Orlando Pride. Congratulations, Mr. Smith. If you're watching tonight, congratulations from the Trans Sister Radio Show. Tiara Latrice here. Thank you so much for being here last week. So, yeah, so he was on last week, and we talked a little bit about the importance of voting. So it is definitely something that has to be done, guys. So get out and vote. Hopefully you guys all registered. The last day for registration here in Orlando was on the 9th, so a few days ago now. So it's too late to get registered. So if you're not registered, but if you are registered, this is it. It is our time. It is our time. Secondly, I want to talk about, really quick, I want to send some thoughts and prayers. And I hate that whole thoughts and prayers thing because it's used too much. But in this situation, I definitely want to send some thoughts and prayers to Panama and all of the areas that were just recently affected by Michael. For those of you guys who may not know, Hurricane Michael just hit here in Florida and in North Carolina and South Carolina and different areas. And it was pretty bad. Like, he came in forceful, he remained forceful, and he's torn so many places apart. And I spoke to my nephew or my niece earlier today, and she asked me to mention on the show tonight to just ask you guys to pray because she has family that's there, and things are not well there. So make sure you guys are praying for them. If you're able to donate, Facebook has a little app at the top of everybody's screen. I mean, a little screen at the top of everybody's app that it will give you the option to donate. So make sure you guys are donating. Hey, Oxford Kitten. Hi, thanks for joining. Hello. But yeah, make sure you guys are joining that. If you guys are just now watching on Facebook Live, we're so glad to have you guys here. If you are watching the video, at the top of in the description is the link to come on over here to YouTube if you guys want to watch the show from the perspective of YouTube. Come on over. If you are already on, go ahead and share this video. It's going to be an awesome show, I'm telling you. Let's see what's next. So we talked about voting. We definitely want to keep in mind and pray for all of those that were affected by Hurricane Michael. We're also keeping in mind that TDOR is coming up next month. So we're remembering our trans individual brothers and sisters that have been affected by violence. And it doesn't always have to be murder. It can just be violence because many of us experience violence on a daily basis, whether it be verbally, physically, or whatever. So that's what Transgender Day of Remembrance is all about. I will not be involved in the transgender, activities that they have here in Orlando this year, or probably any year after this year. However, I will be in St. Petersburg, Florida this year, to speaking at T-Door there. And they do a whole march and everything, and I'm really looking forward to that. So, I've been chit-chatting, but what are y'all doing? What do you guys got going on? What's everybody doing? If you're here, go ahead and comment, and let me see what you guys are doing. Let's check in with Facebook. Hi, Facebook. If you guys are watching on Facebook, I see there's a few of you guys there. If you're watching on Facebook, come on over to YouTube. Use the link at the top of the description, and you'll get a chance to view the whole screen. So for all of you first timers, this is Tiara Latrice Presents the Transistor Radio Show with Tiara Latrice. And of course, I am Tiara Latrice, and every week, Sunday evening at 8 p.m., I invite you guys into my home and we conversate. We have real conversations with real people. I have panelists or awesome guests coming on. Coming up, we have some really awesome shows. Next week, don't miss next Sunday's show. It is a special time at 4 p.m. We're going to have last year's Miss Continental, Chantel DeMarco, will be here on the show. A couple weeks ago, we had 2016, Giselle Barbie Royale was here. Next week, we have Chantel 2017. And then on November the 9th, I believe it is. November the 4th. November the 4th, we have your current reigning Miss 2018 Miss Continental, Miss Stasha Sanchez will be here. So I'm really excited. I love highlighting them. Stasha's story is a beautiful one, an amazing one of triumph, because she is the epitome of do not give up. So you guys don't want to miss that. That's November 4th. So I'm going to say it one more time. If you guys are on Facebook and you're watching live, come on over to YouTube. Click the link in the description. Join us here on the live YouTube link. And we're about to get started in just a couple moments. Lots of love going on in the chat. I love to see that. Keep it up, guys. Keep going. Hey, as a reminder, when we bring on the guest here, I want to remind you guys that this is an interactive show. The reason why that chat box is there is for you guys to use it. So if you want to interject or have something that you want to say, please feel free to do that, because I am checking them, I'm watching it, and I do want to know what you guys have to say as well, okay? All right. Okay, so I am going to try to get our guest on. What do you guys think? You guys ready to get our guest on here so we can get this conversation started? Awesome. So give me 1 second and I'm going to get them on here. While I'm doing that, let me tell you guys, so that you all probably already know, but just a reminder that I do have a role in the upcoming production of, oh, what happened? In the upcoming production of The Wiz, that's December the 8th. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Okay. There we go. But 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. on December 8th. I don't want to give away what my role is, but I will tell you guys that I do have speaking roles, plural, and they're pretty awesome scenes in the whole thing. So you guys definitely tune in. Definitely get your tickets. If you have not gotten your tickets already, www.lavariusslaughter.com/tickets. You can order your tickets there. If you guys use the, you can use the discount code TKELLEY, T Kelly, and hey, and you will, once you get that code, once you use that code, I think there's a little discount that's attached to that. I'm not exactly sure. For those of you guys who are not comfortable using online, making payments online and things like that, I will have physical paper tickets this week coming. So you'll be able to get the physical paper tickets from me as well. Okay. Also, just wanted to say, as far as that goes, so this Lavarius Slaughter is a amazing award-winning director and producer, and he likes to give back to the community. He's originally from right here in the Orlando area, and so what he does is each show that he produces and it travels here, he has a set of kids, underprivileged children, who he buys tickets for or gets tickets for. And this year there's 500 kids that orphan kids or kids who are not able on a normal basis to be able to come and see a professional show. We're going to have 500 kids there for our first show at 2 o'clock, and that's going to be really awesome. And you guys can contribute to that if you'd like. You can purchase a ticket for a child. The normal general admission tickets are $30. The tickets for the child, if you sponsor a child, it's only $20. You can sponsor one, you can sponsor a bunch. We were talking at rehearsal earlier, and I think he said that there was someone who is sponsoring like 10 kids. So each ticket goes directly to the organization, and they distribute them however they want. But it's a great opportunity to give back, guys. So check that out. It's www.lavariusslaughter.com. If you have any questions about any of this, you can always shoot me a message on Messenger or on my Instagram. IG is the.kellys, Kelleys. And you can message me there, or you can always give me an email, thetransistorradioshow@gmail.com. Hey, Latravius, you're the only one here so far.
Yeah, I see that some of the girls are having problems with getting the connection together. I never have that issue.
Oh, gosh. Let me see. I wasn't even... I'm glad you're paying attention. I wasn't.
I tried to put the link into the group chat to see if that helped, but I don't know if that helped or not.
Huh. See now, and listen, y'all that are watching, we literally just had a meeting, like not even an hour before this, so that we could possibly eliminate all this stuff. But if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You know, it is what it is. We're gonna try to get everybody on here, guys, though. Okay, give me one moment. If you're not on mobile, you may try rebooting your phone. Yeah, exactly. Looks like Robert is handling that. So it looks like maybe everybody's having an issue. I'm going to try to send the invite again and see if that helps. All right, guys. So, anyways, so we're still going on with the show. Let us know what you guys are up to. What's everybody up to today? How's everybody's week been? How's everybody's week coming up? Anybody got anything exciting? Anybody want to talk about anything right now? What's going on with you guys? You know, we're interactive here at the show, so we want to know what is on your mind. So let's talk.
Can I see the interaction, or will I not be able to see what they say?
You can do the interaction if you go to... Are you on the YouTube channel on another device?
No, I think I can. I'm gonna try that though.
Yeah, if you pull up another device, you'll be able to see the chat. And that's where they're communicating with us. Hey, Michaela, thank you so much. Cece, is it still frozen? Hey, Deja, thank you so much for watching. Hello, hello. You guys are just commenting up in having a little conversation in the chat. I love that. Hey, Tay. Tay's here. Hello, hello. We're still waiting on the other two ladies to get in. It looks like they might be having some troubles.
All right.
Michaela says she's watching on her TV, so I might not be able to comment from my TV. Oh, well, excuse me, watching it on your TV. Not everybody able, Michaela, but I'm grateful that you're watching, period. Want to remind you guys again, she is from Tea Time with the Girls. Latravius, do you see that? Someone's asking, are you the Terry from Tea Time with the Girls? Yes, that's actually her project, if I'm right.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I was one of the regular producers on Tea Time with the Girls back when it was here in New York. I no longer work with those people or with that program, but yeah, I do that in the past.
So yes, definitely that is, you have the right mystery. I can't hear you, baby. You're on mute, Latravius. Are you talking to me?
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, sorry. Oh, they're doing it in London now, she said. Asia says they're doing it in London now, Latravius.
Who's doing what in London?
Nice. She said, that's nice, though the London show is better. They doing it in London now. I'm not sure. Daisha Dark Cloud? Daisha Dark Cloud? Vivian says that she used to watch the episodes of Living Man-Made, and they were actually very cute.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I love it all. I love all of the girls. I know all of these girls. They're all from Orlando. I know all of them from our days at Burger King downtown, the bus station.
I love a good tea room.
We used to have some good times. So when I get to see the great things that they're doing, as a matter of fact, Latravis, I believe you guys do every year. You guys do the Transgiving, right?
Yeah, we're getting ready for Thanksgiving again this year. We do it the week before Thanksgiving. It's a holiday event that we do where we invite members of the transgender and the gender non-conforming community to come out and have like a holiday meal with family, with their trans family. And we also invite the allies and supporters of the community to come have a big holiday meal to uplift the trans and the gender non-conforming communities.
Absolutely. It's such a beautiful event. It's such a, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get these other ladies on. They're both saying that they're having some difficulties in accessing it. So I'm just trying to get them on.
Maybe I'll be treating
if you ladies can hear me, oh wait, somebody else. Oh no, that's me. If you ladies can hear me, Paige and China, my husband said try using a different browser and then try coming back in that way. If you can't get in, I just sent the link in the chat that we were all in, so you guys should be able to click that and it should bring you directly here. But it's no problem. We can give it a few more minutes. I want to talk to these beautiful ladies that I have here right now. So, hey.
Tell Robert we can see him in the back.
Oh, Robert. Oh, they can see. Yeah, they can see you.
I was doing really?
Lord.
It's my day off, y'all.
He said, listen, it's his day off, y'all. Babe, move over.
Hello.
Hey, there's Paige. Yay.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
Hello.
Hi, hello, hello. So now we're just waiting on China. And
I'm here.
Just a moment. Hello, I'm so glad you're here, China. I mean, I'm Paige.
Thank you, love.
So glad. Hey, Lisa. Girl, I don't know who no Lisa is, but that's your email account, apparently. Tay. Oh, where's she went? Miss Temonet. Let me just check with China. See if I can maybe send her that invite once more. Oh no, that's not gonna be it. So, Paige, while we're trying to get everybody in, why don't you tell us a little bit? I know that you're a published author, and I know also that you have a t-shirt line that you just began as well, right? Tell us a little bit about that if you can.
Hey, you guys. I'm Paige Mahagony. Can you see me?
I can't see you.
What I need to do?
Hit the camera. Is there like a camera emoji? Or a camera, like a little camera on the screen?
Sure, this is. Let me see. Okay. Hello.
Uh-huh. Oh, there you are. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Hey.
Hello, hello. Tell us a little bit about your book and tell us about your t-shirt line.
Well, I am Paige Mahagony Parks. I am a published author. My book is Lady Paradox. It is sold where books are sold, on bookstores. And I also started a T-shirt line. I partnered with Activist Care, and the T-shirt line is and I also have so many items on that website. You can go get bags, T-shirts, tank tops. But all the proceeds, half of the proceeds, go towards me helping transgenders in the Jacksonville area. Out and support that, and I'm also have an organization called TAPS, the Transgender Awareness Project, here in Jacksonville, Florida. You can find the group on Facebook, Transgender Awareness Project. So you guys support me, Hey, that's what I'm doing here in Jacksonville.
Awesome, awesome. Duval.
Yes, they lost tonight, honey. Yeah.
I know. I love Duval County. Like a lot of people don't know this, but a great part of my transitioning life happened in Duval. I was dating a guy named Scott, and I was really getting comfortable in my transition. I had been transitioning for a while, but I was really getting comfortable and becoming adult. And it was in Duval County
Hmm.
that I was able to do that. So I have such a tie and a bond to that area, and I know a lot of the girls there. I'm great friends with a lot of the girls there. Um, so yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad that we were kind of talking earlier in the pre-show, and we were talking about the fact that you didn't even know. You said you've been there a year, is it?
A year and a half.
A year and a half, and you don't see very many transgender individuals that are visible there, right?
Right. They're not visible, like I said, I've been here a year and a half and I see a few, when I go to the north side, but just out in it at the malls and, the stores and stuff, they're not visible. And, the most I've seen of the transgender community was when we had the Trans Lives Matter March here. A lot of girls came out, but it's kind of like after that rally, everybody went back into seclusion. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? You know, um, Even when I'm at City Hall and I'm not speaking on behalf of me. I'm speaking on behalf of the transgender community as a whole. There's not a lot of transgender women that's down at City Halls talking and raising hell. But we do have a group here called the Stiletto Sisters, which is ran by Chloe Kensington and Kensington. I think that's her last name. And she's been doing great work here. She helped the JSO form the LGBT. Uh, Again, what is it called? Legion team here, the Legion team here. She's been doing great work here, but other than that, there's not a lot of transgender women of color doing things here in Jacksonville.
Huh.
I just wanted to speak to what she was saying about visibility, specifically in the southern part of the United States. It's just a different game. I've lived in the South. I lived in the South for 28 years before I moved to New York, and it's just a whole different experience. A lot of times, being stuff or not as visible in the South has to do with safety and concern for your own personal well-being. Because being loud and proud about being
Yep,
when you live in a place like Duval County or Miami, Florida, could result in danger for you. As opposed to here in New York,
you're
where
right.
we live now, the girls are free. The girls are with beards and wigs on the daytime and ride the train. They have a support system here that is unmatched in the South. It is the
It
different.
is.
So I understand why they aren't as visible in the South, but we need to change that. But I understand their concern for safety that makes them keep things more secretive.
Absolutely, and I understand that as well, and I think that Well, we're gonna actually talk. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a little bit. But I'm with you on that, Latravius, and I understand what both of you are saying.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure. Let's
Yeah,
see.
that is true.
So Michaela is watching. Hi, Michaela. We appreciate you being here and watching. Hey, Nikki. We already said hey to Vivian, Cece. Let's see, Britton. Hey, nephew Britton, how are you? Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you guys, all of you that are watching. If you are watching on YouTube, Facebook Live, you can come on over to YouTube. That way you'll get a full gist of the show, or you can stay there and watch. We appreciate you watching from Facebook as well. So I'm just trying to, it looks like we're having some sort of a technical issue, and I can't put my finger on what's happening to get these other girls on. So you guys bear with me a moment. But I want to talk with Latravius just a little bit. So you guys just, the Ghost Project, just produced a video recently, correct? It's called After Dark. Is that what it is?
No. Let me explain.
Okay.
I co-own multiple businesses. And Ghost Project is a nonprofit organization that I co-own with my best friend. However, the music side, which is ManMade Productions, is a separate business that I co-own with other members as well too. And we produce with the music. We do alternative lifestyle artists, mostly in the LGBT community, and we give them the opportunity to create music and make a platform for them to present that music on. But Ghost Project is a nonprofit for the trans community and gender nonconforming community specifically. It's not necessarily an LGBT nonprofit.
Gotcha. Okay.
The trans community.
Okay. Well, come on, work it out then. That's what I'm talking about. Inclusive. Like inclusive. I love it. 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 But
Who's on my damn phone?
Huh?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. So Latravius, tell us a little bit about the video. Do you know which video I'm speaking about? I've watched it a million times. It is such a powerful message. Tell us, for those of us who have seen it or maybe haven't seen it, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the name of the video is Nightfall, and the subject matter features about how lives change with this daytime. Might be one person and live one life in the sunlight and be totally different at night. And as members of the trans community, we are very familiar with that. A lot of us live that way. We live one lifestyle in the daytime and live a totally different lifestyle in the night. So that's what the song reflects. There's an artist who on ManMade Productions who's actually the head of A&R, and he came up with the idea of showing that the community has multiple sides. I guess perceptions and projections. So he wanted to show the good, the bad, the light, and the dark all in one. So the song just follows the path of a young lady who sees one thing in the daytime, and then when it comes, you see something totally different. It represents how the world really is when you live in the LGBT communities.
That's fabulous. That's absolutely wonderful. Like I said, I can't even tell you how many times I've watched that video and I've shared it a million times. Like I think the message is beautiful, and I think that you guys did a great job. The quality, the professionalism. Like I'm so proud of y'all. Great job. And I want to meet. His name is Bugs Gutta, or is it Bugs Gutta? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, his name is Bugs Gutta.
Yeah, I want to meet him so bad.
You want to meet him now?
Is he there?
Yeah, he's here.
Yes! I would love to.
I'll show that to the table.
Hi, you.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. You are such a talented individual. Like, I watch your showcases whenever Latravius posts them. But you're such a talented individual, and that's awesome.
I really appreciate that.
Definitely. Credit where it's due, baby. That
he's
is
gay.
And he's gay?
I'm not gay.
Oh, that's funny.
Lord. So listen, we're still waiting on China. She's having some issues. My husband is working with her to try to get her on. So we're gonna move forward. And so I know we've been doing a little bit of brief introductions. But I want to get you guys introduced. But first, let's go to the comments and see. Michaela says Jacksonville is a scary place. We were talking about Duval earlier, Miss Paige. Michaela says Jacksonville is a scary place. And then Vivian says, I lived in Jacksonville for 4 years. Just recently moved back from Jacksonville. I lived in Riverside and I moved back to Orlando a year ago. Jacksonville is a very small community when it comes to the trans. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier as well, Paige.
Look at the camera off. It goes project.
And then, let's see. Vivian said, I had a lot of problems in Jacksonville being trans. That crushes my heart to hear that. I have to honestly say that I didn't experience that. But things were different when I lived in Jacksonville. I don't think I really was out like that, except for when I went to the clubs or was performing. I pretty much stayed home and lived kind of a stealth life. So I didn't get a chance to experience what a lot of the girls actually experience being every day living in Jacksonville. Michaela says, how did some of the girls learn to be more active in the community? That's a great question. All of you guys are doing something really amazing. You all are doing amazing things, and we're going to get to talk about those in just a second. But Michaela's question is, how did you all get involved to be so active in the community? Let's start with you, Tay.
Well, first of all, hello, everyone. Hello, viewers. My name is Temonet. Soon to be Nicole Taylor Levy in just a couple of days. I am a local entertainer and in a month an RN student, so I'm very excited to be here. I got involved in the community basically through being pissed off. You get to a point where you cannot allow other people to think, speak, or represent you. So you develop your own voice and you just become active and you jump on in there. A lot of times it's quite by accident or by anger. So that's just my point of view.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Same question for you, Paige. Let's go to you and give us a little bit of an introduction of, I know we talked a little bit about your book and your t-shirt, but just tell us, like, I know you do a lot of community work, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, excuse me, guys. I'm Paige Mahagony. My activism started years ago in Houston, Texas. There was a crisis when the illegal silicone injections started, surfacing around the country, and girls were having these pumping parties, and girls were dying. And the other issue was a lot of girls that was working in the sex industry, was being murdered in Texas, and no one was speaking out for us, and like Miss Temonet just said, I was angry. You can't have cisgender people speaking up for transgender people when they don't live our lifestyle. And that was happening in Texas. And, I just thought there was a need, and it started from there, and I've taken my show on the road, honey. Every city I've touched, you're gonna know Miss Paige, honey, because I'm very radical, honey.
Absolutely.
But I do things in order. Yes.
That's awesome. And Latravia, same question for you. How did you get so active in community? What made you want to do that?
Well, to be completely honest with you, it was kind of an accident. I was at tea time with the girls. And Fox, if y'all know Fox DeVille, the famous Fox DeVille, she came up with this great idea to help promote the show, to do a charity event, which would be a wig drive, and take all of our old wigs and like clean them up and make them presentable again for girls who were in that early transition and help with, clothes and wigs and things. So we did that event, and it was such a success, and it was so warming to the heart that we just didn't want to stop. So we started doing more events, and we turned it into a business. And within like a year, we had a nonprofit organization that was running for itself.
Awesome. Fantastic. And it's just beautiful when I know that so many girls like us have a heart and a desire to do things like for the community and work for the community. And a lot of them don't know what direction to go. So I hear this question a lot. We get this question a lot on the show. When we have people on, people want to know, how can I get involved? People want to get involved, but they just don't know how. So that was a great question, Michaela. I hope that did answer your question for you.
I also want to say this to Michaela and to anybody who's feeling that they want to be involved and they don't know how. It kind of starts with the person. In our community, it seems like we have the hardest time lending hands to another girl or another member of the community. And if you help somebody out, take your old things and don't throw them away. Actually give them to the next girl, because we all know a girl who wore the same thing for 3 days or needs help. Or you can see that she's going through the process. And we all have been there. It's everybody's broke. None of us are really rich at this moment. So we're all struggling through something. So we need to help each other out. And these girls do not be wanting to help each other out. They be wanting to be above and better than one girl or another and want to knock somebody down instead of helping and lifting them up. And just because a girl is going through something, don't act like you ain't never been through it.
Come on.
Just because you're not going through it. We've been through all of it together.
Come on. And you know, like I have to minister that to myself sometimes, because what happens, I don't know if, for me, if I'm real with you ladies, like what happens with me is I sometimes forget where I came from or what I used to be or what I used to do, because I'm so passionate about what I do now. But that's a great point, Latravis, is like we all came from somewhere, and to keep that in the front of our minds and to be reminded of that helps us to be able to help other people. So that's a great point. Latravis, another question for you. Sierra wants to know when is the new season of Living Man-Made coming out?
Everybody is asking me about the new season of Living Man-Made, and I just want to make a little announcement. The show is really paused and postponed. It's an expensive show to produce, and it takes away from other art forms that are more effective. I love filming the TV show, but the range that we reach on the TV show is not as great as we do with our service and our charitable works. And to take away from that when it's had such an impact and it's so important to the community here in Brooklyn, New York, it's hard to do. Until I can maintain the finance to produce the TV show and do the charitable work, then I choose to do the charitable work. But it's not over, like completely dead. It's not like a done topic. It's definitely a topic. It's definitely something that we're working on, but financially it's very difficult to do so many things at one time. But
Awesome.
thank you for watching, and I'm so grateful that you enjoyed it, and it will be back eventually.
It was an awesome show, and I could definitely tell that you guys put some money into that. It's not cheap to do, especially good quality like that. You know, it's not cheap to do that. So let's get into some questions. We're still trying to get China on. I don't know what is happening. Babe, can you let her know that I'd sent her another email, but I'm also going to post the link for this chat once more in the chat on Facebook. And tell her to try to click on it, and it should bring her directly here, because she was just on a little while ago. So she has everything. Okay, ladies. So today, as you guys know, we are talking about what it means to be Black first, educated as a Black individual, and then just so happens to be that we're trans individuals.
Transgender.
And so I want to, so we're going to be talking a little bit about education and the importance of education in the trans community. This is not a conversation that you hear a lot. And if you do hear it, let me speak for myself. If I hear this conversation, it's not an open conversation. It's more of a like one side or the other is condemning one side or the other. And that's not what we're here to do today. We're here to discuss, to talk, to open up people's minds, to open up our own minds. I say this every episode, but every episode I learn something new. So I'm sure that this this episode won't be any different. The first question that I have for you ladies, and Tay, I'm going to start off with you. I'm picking on you tonight, sis.
All right. I'm so proud of you, sis, by the way. This is a wonderful platform. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is education in your own words? What exactly does that mean? Because, well, I'm not even going to go any further. I'm just going to ask you in your own words, what is education?
Education to me is the very key in essence to my future. And I say that because before I was taught to be a girl, before I was taught to be pretty, before I was taught to be talented, before I was taught to respect my elders, I was taught that education is power. That is the one thing that no one can ever take away from you.
Yes.
It's the one thing that if you put your mind to it and you put everything into it, no one can ever debate that or take that away from you. So for me, education is non-binary. It's not a racial thing. It's not a class thing. It's something that you own. It's something that you are or you aren't. So that's what education is to me.
Absolutely. Come on there. Come on, education.
Yeah.
Paige, same question for you. What is education in your own words? Yes, you, Paige. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. I agree with the lady about before I. Yeah, education is power and it's also awareness, honey. I find without education, honey, and awareness, they both go hand in hand. And those little moments that we call teachable moments, honey, when we're out and about and something we see a situation where we can, in that moment, we can educate and bring awareness. Baby, hold on. Y'all, please forgive me. We can bring awareness and education in those situations, when we find ourselves, you know, we find ourselves in a situation where we can't educate people and bring them to awareness of our lifestyles and things that are going on around us, honey. I'm sorry, y'all. Please forgive me. Baby, wait.
No need to apologize at all. I think I understood what you were saying. You're basically saying that education also includes somewhat of a responsibility for us to educate people on who we are and what we do, and that we are just normal human beings, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Latravius, of course, I'm coming to you, sissy. Tell me, what is education to you?
Well, I would define education probably differently because a lot of people think it's just about sitting in the classroom and learning about history, but education is information. It's to become informed about any subject or topic, whether it be trans topic or mathematical or it just be hair. Education is to be informed on different subjects or certain subjects. So to me, education is so important because if you don't know about it, you cannot improve upon it. So first we have to learn and be informed about what the hell is going on so we can make the improvements that we need in our life. That is the point of education, to inform us so that we can make the necessary steps to make shit better. Or I'm sorry, things better. My bad.
No, it's fine. This is the Transistor Radio Show, and if you mean it, say it. It don't matter what it is. If you mean it,
make shit better.
Okay, there you go, sis.
Will.
I love it.
So listen.
I'm sorry.
Vivian wants to know, do you guys still do the Transgiving? Oh, okay, yes. Yes, Vivian, they do still do the Transgiving.
This year, November 15th, Brooklyn, New York, Marte Hall. I think it starts at 5. I'm not sure the flyer will be out. I forget what time it starts. It's not 4, 5, 6, something like that. But the flyer will be out soon. But November 15th, Marte Hall, Brooklyn, New York is going down. It's everything. Oh, yeah, we have Angelica Ross from Pose is going to be one of our guests. And what's the ballroom girl name? Sanaya Braxton. Sanaya Braxton is another girl that we're honoring this year at Transgender. Please, it's free.
Come on. I love it. I love it. So Michaela wants to know. Oh yes, Michaela, I'm my medication. Michaela wants to know how do we educate a girl in a smaller community about transgender? Wait, okay, I'm sorry. How do we educate girls who are in smaller communities about what transgender is? Because I honestly didn't know until I was in my 30s. I just knew I was a girl, but even though I lived in Fort Lauderdale. So the question is, how do we educate girls? Maybe there's someone watching right now that lives in a little small town that she can't break free, or she lived in a small community where there isn't a lot of support. What would you tell that person in that smaller community to educate them on being transgendered? To Latravia's.
Okay. Basically, I would advise anyone in a small community who is thinking of transitioning to get out of a small community. And it may sound crazy or you may not understand it, but a small, shallow-minded community is a weapon against your transition. It is very difficult to get people in a small community to understand what happens in the whole big wide world. So my advice would be, first, self-educate. Don't depend on anybody else to teach you. You have to self-educate. Don't just let no girl tell you, go here, get these titties, go here, wear this girl. No. Self-educate. Find out what's going on and how shit works before you jump into a pond that you don't know nothing about. And once you self-educate, you have to get out of these small towns and get into a bigger place where the minds are more open and they are more accustomed to seeing things that they don't necessarily see every single day. Coming to New York was a blessing, getting out of Orlando, Florida, because Orlando, Florida existed between 5 and 6 blocks where all the transgender community lived. And we didn't explore the world like we should have. And when I got to Brooklyn, New York, it was like the whole world was open to me and I could be anywhere I wanted to be and be anybody I wanted to be. It's a different feeling to get into the big world. You have to get out of these small town communities. They don't do you no justice.
Amen. You preach that. You preach that. Listen, I noticed that every last one of you guys, for the most part, that moved from here to there have been successful in something. Like everything seems to be successfully lining up. And that speaks a lot. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Tay, same question for you. What would you tell a small town girl?
First of all, I was listening to the last young lady. How you guys doing, my fellow panel members? I was listening to her, and I have to say that I was that small town girl. I'm from Niagara Falls, New York, and the first thing I would tell that girl is find commonality. And like we just discussed, education is key. You're not going to find all the answers that you need in that small town. But guess what? There's a will, there is a way, mama. Find something that you identify with. Find the people who you identify with. Keep the love that's around you very close, because that's all you're going to have until you open up minds. And that's just the truth. Not everybody can afford to pick up and move away. So my advice would be to pull the people who are close to you, pull them even closer. Have them go on that journey with you. That would be my advice. Because I was that girl. I'm from Niagara Falls, New York. I now live in Tampa, Florida. If you were to tell me 5 years ago that would be possible, I'd have told you to go F yourself, because it just wasn't a reality. But I'm not going to cry. But it just means that.
Listen, I completely 100% agree with you. I'm from Niagara Falls originally too. I moved here when I was in like 7th grade, but I'm originally from Niagara Falls, New York.
I hate you for doing this.
It's gonna be okay, sister.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you so much for sharing it. That's what I love, is just genuineness, just like your heart being poured out. That's what this space is for.
Well, can I respond to what she was saying?
Absolutely.
I totally understand what you're saying about being from a small town and not being able to necessarily just pack up and move. But I'm gonna be completely honest with you. From my point of view, like you have, even when you have nothing, you have to step out when you're doing something for you. When I moved to Brooklyn, New York, girl, I had a suitcase and $50, and it worked out for me some kind of way because I had faith in that. And I wouldn't suggest that you leave a good situation for a bad situation. But if you know that you're in Mississippi, Buffalo, Zima Hopper, nowhere, and you want to transition and live a life, then you're going to have to step out on faith and get to some other place where they have opportunities. Here in New York, if you are of the transgender community, there are opportunities here that exist nowhere else that you won't even know about if you don't step out on faith and come here and find out what they have going on. They have programs here that I've never heard of in the South. There are girls here getting titties and free pussies every day. Just jumping on the table, just bam, hook me up for free. They don't do that in the South. They got a waiting list now for girls that's getting titties. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just putting titties in hoes' chests just because they say transgender. It's a different life and you get out of these small towns. You have to.
And I hear you,
it really is.
I hear you, my sister. I do. I wasn't by any means disagreeing with what you said. However, as young women, as young trans women and men, or just young individuals, we have to first learn to find value in ourselves and find value in what's true. Pussies are great, titties are great, all that shit is great. But if we don't have self-love, if we don't have that innate ability to look in the mirror and say, I love you for everything that you are and you aren't, and that happens in small towns or big cities. I agree with you 100%. Like I said, my advice would be to that small town girl, find what you love. Find the people who love you. Find that common.
Awesome. Paige, I'm gonna get to you next, but finally we got joining us China. China's here. Hey, Miss China.
Hey, China.
Oh. Oh, your mic is muted, China.
What about now? Oh, there she go.
Oh, are you there, China? Okay, I think it still shows that you're. Let me check something out here. Okay, yeah, you should be good. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hi.
Yay, she made it. China, we're already into the conversation, but I want to introduce our viewers to who you are. So why don't you share with everybody who you are?
Hi, I'm China. First off, I am in dual schools. I hold a master's degree in education, and I do perform in the areas of Jacksonville, Florida, Coastal, as well,
China,
outside of education.
Really quick, you're like you're choppy.
What's about now?
Start talking.
Can you hear me?
It's really breaking. I don't know. Can anybody else hear that? Hey guys, viewers, can you guys let me know? Can you hear what I'm hearing, or is it just it? Because if it's just me, we can keep going.
No, it's choppy.
It's choppy.
Hi, China.
Hi.
China, just say something for me.
Okay, it's still choppy.
Oh, it's really, yeah, it's choppy.
Ooh. Okay, let me see something. Hold on.
She's trying to move to another area. But while we're waiting on her to get that fixed, hey, I want to ask you, Paige, we were talking about small town girl. What would you tell a small town girl coming in.
Well, me. hmm Well, me being from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, honey, small town city, very country, redneck, and all that in one, honey. Growing up, I didn't have allies. I didn't have people that looked like me, sounded like me, none of that, especially black folks. I remember leaving home at 13. Yes, and left home at 13 and leaving Oklahoma, going to Houston, Texas. And that was my first time seeing transgender women. I knew I identified with these folks, but I just didn't know what it was called. When I got to Houston, and we're talking about the late 80s, I educated myself on the lifestyle of transgender women, and I started the hormones and all that kind of stuff. But I would tell these young ladies or young men that are transitioning in these small towns, first of all, educate yourself, honey. You have Google right in front of you. But if you don't have that love, like the young lady said before, if you don't have that love and support in your own little city, it is time for you to pack up and you just have to leap out on faith and know that you're going to make it, whether you have $13, whether you have $10 or not. Because I left Oklahoma City on a program back in the 80s. It was called the Get Home program, where you
Did you freeze up? Are you there, Paige? Paige? Okay. China, how are you? You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Much better. Yay. We'll start over. Tell us who you are.
Okay, first off, my name is China. I am assistant principal in the Duval County school system here in Jacksonville, Florida. I hold a master's degree in education, and I also entertain in the Jacksonville area, in the Orlando, Daytona area.
Fantastic. Awesome. And it's fabulous that you said you hold a master's, and you and I were talking about it. You're actually going back to
y'all. I don't know what happened. I'm back.
Oh, okay, Paige. Give me 1 second. I'm just talking to China really quick. She was telling us about school. So you're going to school?
Yes, I'm still. I actually start back this Thursday. I'm finishing up my doctoral degree to get my PhD.
Nice. And what's that like being in? First of all, just the thought of being in the educational system, period, in Duval County as a transgender woman is, that's something to think about. But then the fact that you are you're the assistant principal, and first of all, how did that happen? Are they aware? I know that Travius asked earlier. Are they aware of your transgendered status? And what's that like for you?
Well, for me in the Duval County, no, they are not aware, because at this point in time, they're not ready to be aware of that. I feel and I say that, and I shed light on that, why I say that, because they have an image of transgender women that they have been fed. They have been fed that if we enter their schools, we are pedophiles. We're there to touch their little boys. We're there to corrupt their children. Like, this is things that they're talking about in Duval County, because we have board meetings where we have to sit in and discuss what's the demographics in Jacksonville school system. And I have we have 3 schools in Duval County where the transgender population is all-time high.
Wow.
That was unheard of when I was in high school, to go to school as a transgender, or even let alone be gay.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we do at these seminars, they're trying to figure out who is comfortable with it and who's not. We even have exercises where it's called the trust system. And sometimes I have to bite my tongue, because, they don't know. So when they touch on certain topics, like most of the males say it's very difficult to call him a she, or allow him to go to the women's bathroom when he's in the public school system. So when I go about my wording, I have to remember, okay, they will have a heart attack. If they knew what they were looking at all day trying to flirt with me, looking at my behind, you will have a heart attack. You're sitting here saying it's uncomfortable, but yet still you're sitting in a room with one, but you don't know. That's the difference. So are you really uncomfortable, or is that what society told you have to be uncomfortable? You get what I'm saying? So a lot of that is the stereotypes that they're being fed about us. Because there are other transgender teachers that's in the county, but are they known as transgender? No, because Duval County is not ready for that.
It's true. It's so true.
So my thing was to become a teacher and to elevate myself as assistant principal was so I could have a different platform. So I can reach people who want to do suicide and have suicide thoughts. There's no image for them in that educational field. There's no one to turn to. Because when they go to their guidance counselor, they're telling them that they're wrong.
Well, I have a question for you then, China. If you're in the school system and you say Duval County is not ready for trans in the school system, what do you suggest we do to move them to a point where they are ready?
To the point where they'll be ready, I think within a year of the ones that already are in place in the system, and they see that what they are doing, and when we do pop that bubble, we're going to make them look real stupid because they'll be like, wait a minute, the whole time. So, since we're already here, what's your excuse now?
I like that.
You have to have your
my pros.
Because mind you, if you go to that interview and say, hey, I just want to let y'all know that I'm transgender, they're going to say, oh no. We do not want your kind teaching our children and corrupting our children. And mind you, Duval County is a Bible Belt town. It's a Bible Belt town. It's a church on every corner in Jacksonville.
Absolutely. So I wanted to let's get back to some questions. First of all, I wanted to let you ladies know that some ladies are saying that you ladies are so inspirational in the chat. So again, thank you guys for being here. You guys never know who you are talking to or speaking to today, or who you're being encouraging to. Michaela says that you ladies are inspirational for real. She just has so much to give and she doesn't know how to do that. And then she said people keep telling her that she's a leader, but I honestly don't know how to do it. I'm holding myself back. Really quick, Latravius, she said that you're her inspiration. So what would you say to Michaela? She's watching right now.
I will give Michaela the advice that I had to give myself is that you can't put limitations or expectations on your power of giving. You have to just give what you can to who you can and let it grow as it comes. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I'm a leader, so I have to help 1,000 people in 10 minutes. No, you can help one person in 1 year, and that could be the one thing that changes that person's whole life. They could be on a whole new path just because you gave them a pair of shoes.
Absolutely. And I want to just touch on that for a second. So, and I hope I don't make anyone mad. I guess I need to put a trigger warning here. No one on the panel particularly, but just anyone that's watching this later on. But I feel like today that there are a lot of people who are screaming, I'm activist, I'm an activist, I'm an activist, I'm an activist. I'm an advocate, I'm an advocate, I'm an advocate, I'm an advocate. And there's no substance behind it. There's nothing that's happening behind it. And I think that, and this is all I'm going to say, I think that personally those people could be possibly holding back that movement. And we'll talk about that on another show. I shouldn't go any deeper into that right now. Let's get back to some questions. Let's see.
But wait. I totally get what you're saying about the activists and all of that kind of idea. Here's my thing, because some people would describe that I do as activism, but I don't. I consider myself a fighter for what I believe in, which is my community, my Black trans community. I believe that if we don't fight for ourselves, who the hell is going to fight for us? We cannot rely on the cisgender community to make sure that we are made whole. We have to step in and make ourselves whole. So that's why I consider myself more of a fighter than an activist, because there are so many rules on activism that I refuse to follow.
I like
They're not going to tell me how to live my life, or who I need to be, or what I can put on my Facebook, or what I can wear in public, or what's too revealing or too provocative, or what words can go across my shirt. You're not going to tell me those things. But you're also going to tell me I can't fight for my community, because I'm going to do that whether you like it or not.
I like that. I like that a lot. I really, really like that a lot.
I'm sorry, my connection.
I'm glad you're back. It's okay. No problem. I'm glad you got back in without a problem. China, so what we had asked earlier, and I wanted to get your answer to this question. The question was, what is education in your own words?
Hello?
Hey.
Can you hear me? Okay, education in my own words is, I believe that education is the key to success. I believe that without education, how can you elevate yourself? And this is what the problem I have with some activists, whatever the topic may be. You're talking about one subject, but what about little Timmy or little Susie looking up to you? When I was coming along in the community, I didn't see anyone that was educated. All I thought was, you have this title, you have that title, you do this at this show, you do that, but where's the role model for me? Where's the person I can say, oh, that's who I want to be when I grow up? All that is fine and dandy. Don't get me wrong, that's fine and dandy to its own, but where's the education? So that's why I think education is the key to success. When you really boil down, once you get old, what can you fall back on?
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, the thing with the Southern school systems that I'm saying is not like against your point, but just in reference to your point. The thing with the Southern school systems is they are so against the trans community. If you are trans in the Southern school system, there becomes a dynamic and a objection to get you out. I went through that myself when I went to Jones High School. It was like the students were against me, the teachers were against me, the administration was against me, and their goal was to get me out of their school system. They believed that the problem was not the harassment from the school system upon me, but I being transgender in their school system. So if they kicked me the hell out, everything else would be fine. So that was their goal, and it's been very difficult for us to be educated in trans when the one thing we need is education. The education system is already against us. We have to follow rules to get our education. If it wasn't for a out of school program, I would never be able to get my high school diploma because the high school did not allow me to come.
Say that loud and proud.
Yeah.
Edgewater was the same exact way. I like constantly, to the point that they finally got that from me. I didn't go back to school for, I didn't go back to school for a few years. And then when I finally did go back to school, I went hardcore. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Travis. The next question I was going to ask, it looks like I lost Tay. If you're watching, Tay, we miss you. We'd love for you to come back. Let me know what you need for me to make that happen, and I'll see what we can do. But the next question that we were going to ask is, what are some of the pros and cons that come from being Black and educated? Let's start there, because I'm going to add transgender to that in a moment. But let's start with, what are some of the pros and the cons that come along with being Black and educated? I want to start with you, Latravius, on this one.
To be completely honest with you, and I mean, I don't know everything, but it's difficult for me to come up with cons to being educated. It's very difficult because even if no one knows, to know something, to be educated upon something is like a gift. It's the best way to approach any situation. I really can't think of anything negative about being an educated Black, because that is our greatest weapon against oppression. is educate all of the things that they do to try to make sure we don't progress or come up. Education is our only weapon against that. So I can't think of anything negative. I can tell you the pros to being educated is to know what you're going through, to have experience.
Connection, love. Oh, damn.
To know what will happen next is the only weapon you can have against a society that has been set up against you. That's all I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And that says a lot. That says enough. Says absolutely. China, same thing, same question.
I can't think of anything negative. And I also speak for the Latin community because, like, I am also Latino. I'm Puerto Rican. But I appear to be Black, but I'm Puerto Rican. So I speak for the Latin people who appears to be African American, but we're not. So I speak on that aspect. Now, that aspect of education, it's very pivotal for us to be educated because they already got 2 strikes against me. I'm Black and I'm Spanish. So that's 2 strikes. And then if you add the transgender, that's 3. So the education for me is a very powerful tool to be educated because you can span your horizon. If they say no, somebody's going to say yes eventually. Somebody's going to say yes. And if they don't say yes, you can force them to say yes because you are qualified, because you are educated to do the job right. It depends on the person that you're talking to. Someone will take a chance once they see what society fed them is incorrect. That's what we have to get over, that obstacle first.
Truth. Paige, same question for you.
There's nothing negative about being Black and educated and being a Black, strong, transgender woman. We had that power because we come from kings and queens, honey, that were strong people. Can y'all hear me? Because my phone is acting up. Can y'all hear me? Hello? Okay. Yeah, we come from strong Black kings and queens, honey. So it's embedded in us to be powerful, and educated at the same time. So there's no negative with that, I'm just proud to be amongst these educated Black trans women on this.
I think you did go out there again. Oh my gosh. So, Latravius, your signal seems to be perfect. Awesome. It just, I don't know. Tonight, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right?
Right.
So the next question that I have for you ladies are, and coming back to you, Latravius, is, now, going to the trans aspect of things, how important would you say is education for trans individuals, particularly for trans women of color?
Well, wow. I honestly think education is the number one thing that we lack in our community, and it's the reason why we sit so low on the totem pole in most situations. We don't educate ourselves to empower ourselves. And I'm not blaming the community, because if the system is set up against the Black, then it's definitely set up against the Black transgender community. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that will tell you it's a battle to be Black and be trans and educated. Anyone who is transgender Black with a college degree, I commend you. I understand your battle. I know what you went through. I fought like hell to get my little piece of paper, and it means the world to me. But it was not an easy fight. And I understand anybody who has had to go through that and hang it in there and stay in the fight, because just like you said with Edgewater, at some point you really feel like saying fuck it. It really just feels like a lot, and sometimes it's too much. So to hang in there and go through all of the oppression, all of the gender issues that come along with school, and survive all of that and come out with a degree or a diploma is it's like a superpower.
I'm back.
Any situation where you can be Black, trans,
yes,
educated, you have already put yourself on the next level that they didn't even know that you could reach. In most situations, they don't think that it's possible for you to have a college degree and be Black and be trans. So already you've put yourself on. You just have to live up to it in the things that you do afterwards.
I'm
Absolutely.
back.
Uh,
Can you see me?
Yes, Paige, we see you and we hear you. Thank you so much. We were just finishing up Latravia's answer. Thank you so very much for that, Latravia's. I was asking her, I actually had asked her, how important is education for transgendered individuals, particularly trans women of color?
Say that again, baby. I can't hear you.
How important is education for trans individuals, particularly trans individuals of color?
Oh, education for transgender women of color is very important, honey, because we're most looked at anyway because we are transgender. So if we just go into a situation not with no education at all, honey, we just setting ourselves up for failure. So education to a transgender woman is key, honey, to a transgender woman's success, because you know when they see us coming anyway, they thinking that we dumb. They thinking we don't know anything at all. So when you got a black woman, trans woman at that, that's educated, honey, and you're trans, honey, that's power, honey. And people fear power. Y'all know that, especially them other folks. Y'all know what I'm talking about, honey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know exactly.
Latravius, can y'all hear me? Because my phone keep going dead.
We can hear you.
I'm pro. Can y'all see me? Okay.
China,
Damn phone, honey.
I'm gonna ask you next. Oh, by the way, guys, Taylor messaged me. Her phone battery is extremely low. She can't get it charged up quick enough, so she's not gonna be able to join us again. But she said thank you for having her on the show.
We love you, sister.
And we will have her back. As a matter of fact, she's going to be co-hosting with me on November the 3rd. I will be in Sanford, Florida at Sanford Pride. And we're going to be live streaming the whole day. We're going to have a little booth set up. We're going to have special guests that are going to be coming through for interviews all day long. And she's co-hosting that with me. So we'll see her again soon. Okay?
That's wonderful.
Now, I want to go to a question that I have here. Oh, well, actually, no, China. I'm going to ask you the same question we were just asking. And then I'm going to ask you this next question, because it's a good one and I need to hear what you have to say. But as far as education for a trans community, particularly trans women of color, what would you have to say?
I would say it's the key. It's the key to beat all odds. As the rest of my sisters said, everything they said is key points. That's the only thing that's left to say. It is a tool to beat the odds against our other counterparts and what they have been fed to believe about us when they first see us on site, whether they recognize what they see or whether they figured out later that they can be proven wrong, that we can be educated. We don't have to drop out of school. I see that all the time, because now in the school system, let me shed light on this. It's okay to be bisexual, but if you gay, they pick on you all day. That's the new thing in the school system now. Bisexual is cool. That's the cool thing now in the school system. And it's also okay for two women to be together, but if two men be together, oh, the Lord, the Bible, Solomon and Gomorrah, then broke out. And that's what's going on right now in the school system. I'm in the system, so I see this every day as students in the hallway talking and conversating. Oh, Jit, you gay, Jit. Oh, you a fat Jit. And he be like, no, I like girls too. Oh, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's a cool thing now to be bisexual.
Wow.
This is what our children and our future is going towards. Bisexual is cool, but if you're gay or trans, you're wrong.
Honestly, sister, that's not really new. Like that and the whole oh crap. Well, that's not really new though. Like, because I remember when I was in school, it was the cool thing, and it was a trendy thing. Like, there was the group of bisexuals, and it was like, oh, they're bisexual. Now those are the faggots. Them the queers, them the sissies, them the punks. But those are the bisexuals. So I understand that. And I guess I'm sure it probably still evolves, you know?
Yeah.
So
when I was in school,
I think you froze up again. If you can hear me, love. Okay, she'll be back, guys. So I want to ask, so China, coming back to you with this question from Michaela. She says it's a serious question. What fields can a trans person get into that would actually help the community? What majors should she pick up, if any?
Anything that's political, anything that's going to put you in the forefront for your voice to be heard. Whether it's public speaking, whether it's being in front of people, and your voice be heard in the community. So any field that consists of communication would be ideal. Whether it's education or communication, to me, that's what I feel. It's putting you in the front. It's making you put it in their face.
You'd be everywhere.
Well, it's not that I disagree with China's.
Hey, y'all.
I agree that any field where you can put your voice out front would be a good field for the trans community. But honestly, though, focusing on thyself is the best thing you can do for the community and be an example so that someone else can see you do something great. That's the best you can do for the community, because standing out in front and talking about it is not as helpful or as inspiring as actually having another black trans woman see you make a difference in your own life, inspire to do something in her life. That's just how I see it.
And that's true. Self-care is most importantly, especially when dealing with if you're an activist, self-care is so important as opposed to being out in front. LaTravis, you're so right about that. If another trans girl see that you're taking care of yourself and that you are making difference, like you said, LaTravis, it don't matter if you change one girl's life, honey, at least you got to change that girl's life. It don't matter if it's, what you're doing, how you're doing. It's all about how you do it. Self-care. You're right. Taking care of yourself is so much more important than trying to be in the forefront of everything, honey. Sometimes you just have to pull yourself back and say, honey, enough is enough. Let me take care of me. Then I can take care of other folks. Y'all agree with that?
I agree with that.
Can y'all hear me?
I totally agree.
Okay.
But the question was, what field should she choose?
Oh, I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry, baby. I lost connection, honey.
It's okay.
It was what field she should choose as a field in like a degree field. That was the question.
Okay, the question, say it again, baby.
So Vivian, one of our viewers asked, Michaela, one of our viewers asked, what field should a trans person get into to help the community? Like what major should they go after? Oh, I think we lost her again. Okay, so this next question, I want to address it to you, LaTravis. I'm coming to you, China, because I want you to, but I definitely want LaTravis to get in on this question. Thank you, Paige. Hang on 1 second, okay? I'm asking a question, and we're going to LaTravis. So, Vivian says, in our community, in her opinion, it doesn't really matter what race. It doesn't matter about race. Yes, Black trans women have problems in the community, but however, shouldn't trans sisters just come together and unite as one? Shouldn't we all be a family? I'm going to answer this as well, but I'm coming to all of you ladies first. LaTravis.
Okay, I definitely believe that there is a stigma against the trans community as a whole, in the whole entire world, not just the United States, but all over the world, pretty much. However, specifically, the stigma against Black trans individuals is different, just the same way it's different for Black individuals. And the mere fact that we are counting as high as 25 and 30 murders a year, unsolved, untouched, untalked about, Black trans women already sets us apart from any other situation. We're not picking up white trans bodies out the street.
Right.
Murder a white trans woman, your ass going to jail.
Right.
White trans woman, you going home and having a good night. You have coffee in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
what the difference is. And if you don't see that, then you're not looking at the situation seriously.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on. But Travis, you is on. Listen. You is on. For real, for real.
She right. She's right. She's right.
That's correct.
On fire. I'm gonna have a show with just me and you. Believe me, we about to make that happen. So I'm coming back to you. Who did I just lose? Lost her again. So I'm coming back to you again, China. And I want to ask the same question from Vivian. Vivian is basically asking, you know, she says race should not be important in the trans community as a family. And I know Vivian very well, and I believe what she's saying, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, Vivian, but I believe what she's saying is that because we're already so targeted, we're already such a community that has targets on our backs, we shouldn't stick together more as a family as opposed to allowing a race issue to be an issue.
Okay, in response with that, as my sister said earlier, it is a statistics that proves, you know, with Black trans is a higher murder rate. And even if you go far and with having the means to feminize your face or get breast implants, it's more easier for our counterparts versus us walking during the day. We got to work a little harder because we can't afford that. So on that aspect, you know, it's a little harder being of color and trans than it is being, you know, as our other counterpart or sisters. Yes, we are a family, but we face more difficulties than they do. Whether it's jobs, whether it is, you know, education problems, because we have two strikes against us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to say, well, Paige, I wanted to, since you're here, I want to ask you as well. So we're talking about race in the trans community, and Vivian's point is that she feels that we should all be a family and that it shouldn't be about race. And she stated that yes, Black trans have some problems in the community, but however, shouldn't trans just come together and unite as one? Shouldn't we all be a family? So what do you have to say to that?
Well, I have a lot to say about that. First of all, honey, being Black and transgender, we don't have the privilege that the white girls have, okay? Let's start there, okay? So when there is a murder that's going on in the Black community, y'all don't show up for us, okay? But we are the girls, the Black girls who started, you know, we was the forefront of the Stonewall and all these. We're always at the forefront of Black Lives Matter. We always there when they need us. But when it comes to the Black transgender woman, we don't have those white girls. We don't have the racists speaking up for us. You hear me? So it's very important that Black transgender women stick together. I'm not worrying about the privilege of the white woman. That's not what I'm here for, honey. I don't acknowledge that at all, because we know within this LGBT community, we're always last for everything. We're last for housing, jobs, whatever. So we expect to be last. But if the Black transgender women come together, honey, we show up in numbers, honey, we can change some things and make some shit happen. Really, we can. If we show up in numbers, honey, because we know numbers, honey, outweighs everything, honey.
Everything that all of you guys just said is absolutely 100% spot on, and I can only add to what you ladies have already said. And I do want to do that. I want to add on really quick. Knowing, like I said, knowing Vivian, and Vivian, I'm speaking to you because I know you're a great friend of mine, and I'm sure that your intent was fair. You know, like you had a great intent. But to answer your question, I think what is to be summed up here is that it is not, and it'll never be, an equality thing. Well, I shouldn't say it'll never be, but it is currently not, and it never has been, an equality thing with transgendered women of color and light-skinned transgendered individuals. So I think to say, oh, well, I wish we could all just be a family. And this goes with not even just in the trans community, but in any community, just with everyone. So for someone to say to someone of color, oh, well, I think that we should all just be a family. We don't need to make this a race issue. Why are we pulling the race card? Those type of things in themselves are privilege driven. Like those statements in themselves are driven by privilege, because that's just another way of saying, shut up, you're not allowed to speak. Instead, let's push this underneath the rug and let's move on like everything's yoki-dory. And that's what's been happening for way, way too long. So I think to say this is what I get the concept, and I think it's a beautiful concept, and I think that we should always love everyone. Y'all who know me know my heart, so you know that I love and I try to love everyone. So I believe we all should have that, because it has made my life so much easier, and the blessings in my life have flowed continuously, and I believe that is because I love other people. So please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we need to cause a divide in race and that we need to always be pointing out that there is an issue. But I think what we need to do is that our light-skinned sisters and brothers, our white sisters and brothers, need to start acknowledging that you can't just say, let's move on, or let's not talk about this, or let's not make this about this, because it is 99.9% of the time about this. Whether you see it or not, we can't help but to see it. So I just feel like, I say this all the time, if you're an ally and you trust us, or you want to be on our team, then a true ally does not stand next to me and try to be my equal. A true ally will not stand in front of me and try to go before me and speak on my behalf. But an ally is going to stand behind me, let me do the speaking, and you back me up. So that's the best thing that I feel like you guys can do. Absolutely. And that's just the way that's the answer to that question for me, Vivian. And I hope it answered you.
Also, I want to say to Vivian, to people who think the way Vivian thinks, is we invite you to come down to the next rally in support of a Black trans woman who has been murdered. You cannot tell us that it's an equal platform and you don't protest with us and you don't stand with us. That's the weirdest thing to have to go through. We need your shirts that say Mokisha Revlon, RIP, and all of this, or whatever we need to support these women that are being murdered. When they are being killed in the street, white trans community is silent. They don't say anything about these murders, like it's like they don't exist. So that's why we have to separate ourselves, because you aren't really supporting us.
Mm-hmm. And absolutely, and I want to piggyback off that, because I do know CC and I do know Vivian very well, and I do know that they have always been great allies for our community. They are white trans women who have always been great allies, and so we're not particularly speaking to you on this subject. Now, Vivian, I may be speaking to you because you asked the question, but like it's not. I know that you don't mean any ill intent. So I want to make that clear, because I saw here, Cece said, so should white TS not be here? I don't think that's what anybody here is saying. And we're gonna revisit that question in just a second. But Vivian continued to say, what I'm saying is, as in society, if I'm out with one of my girlfriends who is Black and society both find out we're transsexuals, guess what? I'm in the same boat that you guys are going to be judged as a transsexual. So I'm in the same boat as a Black transsexual in society. We are all in the same boat together as trans, because society sees us at all the same thing, all as the same thing. So I'm in the same boat. And that
No.
Vivian said that's how she feels. And Vivian, please understand, I respect, and I'm sure all of these ladies respect your opinion. So we definitely respect your opinion. And this is just an open forum, and we're having a conversation. So, Latravius, let's go back to you. Do you want to respond to that?
My response to that, Vivian, is I understand your idea that you're in the same boat, but it's not really true. If we're out in public and they discover we're both trans, whatever happens to me, I'm on my own. Whatever happens to you, you have to support your community and the police or whoever else to come to your aid. You can pick up the phone, dial 911, and say you're under attack, and they're going to come rescue you. If I dial 911 and say a black transgender woman under attack, I'll be dead before they get there. And when they get there, they were just coming to collect my body. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. It's the way. It is the way people respond to us being bullied and mistreated and kicked out of places and done wrong. That is the issue. It is the what Vivian fails to understand is that she doesn't, just because she's been bullied for being trans doesn't mean we had the same experience. It's a totally different experience when my bullying is being supported by those who are protecting you.
Right. Right. Come on. Say that again. Say that again.
It's a different experience when my bullying is being supported by those who are protecting you. It's a totally different experience.
It is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. China, chime in, jump in.
And to go to what she just said, it is a difference. And we're both out, especially in the South, and I put it in Duval County, where racism is very still much alive. Even though we both transgender, trust and believe. They may say something to you, but I'm going to also become, now I'm the faggot and the nigger.
Right.
So it's not the same, because now they didn't just forgot all about you being transgender. Now they focus on not only is she transgender, she's a nigger. So let's get the nigger. That's how they're going to see it. So you can't say it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. When we get exposed, it's totally different. They're going to protect you. We call 911, they're going to laugh. That's a man in a wig. You call 911, that's a Caucasian in distress.
Now, I want to say, yes, Michaela, you're absolutely right. I'm coming to you to get your comment in just a moment. But Michaela, you're absolutely right. Vivian and PC, you both know that you're welcome here. And you're welcome in our community, of course. Like, who are we to say that you're not welcome anywhere? And as you've heard throughout this whole video so far, I think everyone here on this panel and anyone, and you ladies know me, know that the hearts of the ladies here are equality. And that's what we're all seeking at the end of the day. So I want you to know that you, ICC said should white PS women not be here? Absolutely not. I mean, I meaning absolutely not that the devil is a liar. Absolutely, you should be here. You should be anywhere, and we should be carrying more spaces. But in those spaces, we also should be understanding one another. And that goes both ways, because oftentimes it can be very one-sided. So that goes both ways, that we both should be understanding one another if we're going to try to share the same spaces. And I do believe that sharing the same spaces is going to be a big part of what's going to continue to knock down the stigmas that the trans community sees. So, okay. So Vivian says, well, guess what? They're going to call me a white cracker faggot. Well, honey, that's not true, because I was attacked in Riverside, Jacksonville at a park by some white man and called the police, and they did nothing. I have the police report and everything. They let the man go. He attacked me. China, I believe that she's speaking to you, but let me jump in really quick and say this. As Latravius, that is not the same situation. They didn't ignore you because you were black. They didn't ignore you because you were this skin color. They didn't treat you some sort of a way because of the color of your skin. They did that because you were trans. And as Latravius said, in that, we share that same bond. But otherwise, that's not a same comparison. Ladies, do you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
I think what we would like Vivian to understand is that we recognize that there is a disdain in American society for transgender overall. So that includes her. And we recognize that she may have been through some experiences that have been unfair to her because of her transition, her being a transgender woman. However, what we need her to recognize is that our experience in similar situations has been worse only by the numbers of people who are murdered of our same experience. They have women of white trans experience who have been through horrible experiences, but the ratio of black trans individuals who have been beat, murdered, and done horrible things too just for being trans and black is much larger than the number when it comes to any other community. That's what we're trying to say. Our community is specifically is targeted in this way, and these crimes against our community go unsolved, as opposed to there are situations where white trans women are attacked, but not nearly in the rate or the ratio of the black trans community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that kind of goes with what Michaela was just saying. Michaela said white trans women still have their white privilege regardless of being trans. You're still white. And I need to say this. I say it and I say it and I say it time and time again. But privilege is not white privilege is not some evil, mean word. It is absolutely not the equivalent of being called a nigger. I hope YouTube does not block me for that. But like it's not the equivalent of that at all. White privilege is just a literal, it is a thing. It is just as much of a thing as racism towards black people. It's just as much as, so like it's not something that you went out and you sought or you had to fight for, because I'm so sick of, and I don't even know how we got into this conversation, you guys, about race, but I'm so sick of hearing you know, actually, you know what, guys, I think we're gonna move away from this topic. Let's move away from this topic for now. I just think that's going to be the best bet for now. Going back to the comments. Someone called the cops on me, and I went to jail for disturbing the public. Cece said someone called the cops on me, and I went to jail for disturbing the public. I do know and say that there is white privilege, and I apologize for that. And no one can help what color they are born. I will always be there to support all my trans sisters. That's from CC. And CC, we appreciate that. Once again, I know that you're one of those allies that I spoke about earlier. You have stood behind us and allowed us to be us and just support it. And that is what. And ladies, if I'm wrong, please correct me, panelists. But is that not what we ultimately, when it comes to an ally of any kind, is that not what we're ultimately looking for? Is someone that's going to be able to stand behind us and support us and allow us to be. Yes, you ladies agree?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, Vivian wants to know Michaela wants to know, how do we get the girls away from sex work and move them into education? That's a great question. And Latravius, I saw your face when I asked that, so I've got to come to you first.
That is a difficult question because I am not the one of those girls who is like anti-sex work. I'm not. I don't believe it's the only option, but I definitely do not believe that you render yourself without a roof over your head or you know, I believe in desperate situations, you do what you have to do. I just don't believe that you have to live a life where sex work is your only option. There are other options. And again, I say the same thing to any girl who feels like sex work is her only option. Get out of these small towns. If you get into bigger cities, they believe in employing the transgender community here in New York. Whole Foods gets like a special grant from the state for employing transgender individuals. So it's like if you go in Whole Foods, it's full of like trans people because they're getting extra money from the state to employ them. You have to get to these bigger cities. That's what I can tell you. I've been in a place where I thought it was either sex work or nothing before, and it took me to get out and see the whole world to realize there were other options. And I had to go back to school and get my bachelor's in business and pursue other things in my life. And that's all I can tell you is if you don't want to do sex work, you better stay in school. You better get a piece of paper.
Say it. So, China, I'm coming to you. Same question. How can we get girls away from sex work and move them into education?
Well, on that topic, fortunately, I don't know anything about that because straight from high school, I went straight to college. So I never had to deal with that. Thank God, blessedly, I had band scholarship. So I never had to deal with that. But I do know other girls who have lived that lifestyle. And by the grace of God, they was able to move from that. And they're like big people in this community now. Like I know plenty of girls in Duval County. It was a time in Duval County that was almost a thing to do. And I know them. They're my friends. They're my sisters. But it's a difference between being a sex worker and survival. As she said, to me, that's your surviving. I'm not against it. That's the way you eat. Everyone should have a means to have a roof over their head and to eat. But I do believe that you should find a way out of that situation. As our counterpart, as real women do. Some of them go script to get a college degree. But they're scripting right now. This is just a situation where I'm at this point in time, but I'm moving towards a goal.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with both of you. As you guys know, everybody, my viewers know, it's never been a secret. I come from a sex worker life. Like, I grew up in that lifestyle. In Orlando, it was the common thing. It was the known thing. But when we were growing up, and Latravis, if I'm wrong, correct me, but when we were growing up, the opportunities that are available today were nowhere to be found. So we literally did what we had to do to survive. Now, I will say that today there are a lot of opportunities, a lot more opportunities, and there's a lot of people right here on this panel that have worked hard for those opportunities to come about. And so I feel like girls should be grateful that these opportunities are here and that they should definitely be taking advantage of them. But so also remember that people can do whatever the hell they want to do. It's your body. You do what you want to do. For me, it was no longer what was going to work for me. It was never going to be a career for me. It was never going to be something that was going to take me to the next level of what I wanted. So for me, I made the decision after being sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I got arrested like 5 times in a matter of a year, and I was getting ready to go to prison, and like enough was enough for me. And that's when I made the decision. But every person has to get to that point. I do encourage that because the opportunities are here today, they are there for your use. And if you don't know how to get to them, every single one of us trans women have at least one trans girlfriend that has some kind of connection to some sort of organization, some kind of knowledge to get the knowledge that you need to do something different and better. And if that means going to get more of an education, then go do that. If that means just going to go get you a RN license, or going to go get you a billing and coding license, or going to go get you a cosmetology license, whatever it is, doing something better for yourself is always a good thing. And it means that you can ensure that you're just a little bit safer from these type of acts of violence that are happening to the trans women in our community. That's what I want to say to that.
Also, it's like in our community, what we do that is so negative to the community is that we teach each other our bad habits. The girls that were sex workers, when I came into to the community, the first thing they taught me was you need to be a sex worker. We don't empower the next girl with the good knowledge. We teach them how to do bad behavior that we learn, and we pass it right on to the next girl. And we make these new girls feel like they have to be prostitutes. We put them in predicaments that's like, girl, you better get out here and get this money because you can't live here for free. You can't eat for free. You ain't finna suck his dick and not get nothing, girl. We put them in those predicaments to make them feel like that's the only thing they can do is be prostitutes. So I blame the community as well as society in the things that we put them through.
Absolutely.
We empower them to be better than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. China, did you want to chime in on that?
Just to say what you said, yeah, absolutely. That was the thing. E-Man Duval, that was the thing. They call it the scroll. That was the thing to do for the girls. They taught them that it was the scroll and to do drag. That was your only two options, was drag and the scroll.
Mm-hmm. And even more so, like, when we were growing up, you're so absolutely right. I remember a particular group of girls that I hang out and they're some of my best friends now. But I remember that particular group of girls like kind of taking me underneath their wings, and the first thing they taught me was, girl, you got to be a hoe. Mind you, I came from a Christian background home, so I initially never ever thought about that type of thing. But then I wanted to be transgender, and just like everybody else, I wanted to progress my transition. I wanted to get what I needed. I wanted to be, Tiara. And so I fell right along with it. So I get it. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. So we are getting close to the show. There's so much more that I want to talk about. But I want to say that, and we lost Tay and we lost Paige. And I thank you, ladies, if you guys are watching. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. You contributed a great portion to this conversation, and I really appreciate you. Earlier in the show, Michaela had made a comment, and I wanted to save it for a little bit. She said that this show has been God speaking to her through us. And I don't know what your beliefs is, and it doesn't matter what your beliefs is, but just know, ladies on the panel, that what we are doing here tonight is definitely doing exactly what we set out for it to do. So a lot of times we don't get the opportunity to reap the rewards or see the rewards of our labor. And we don't always have to. We never really have to. But it's always an amazing thing when we get the opportunity to. And so I just want you, lady, I wanted to share that comment because she did say that. Now, Vivian says, going back to the comments really quick, ladies. Vivian says, sex work can bring you a lot of things very fast in your transition. And some girls make a career out of it, in my opinion. Some girls like it, and sex works don't mean you have to work the streets. Agreed on that, Vivian. She says, I worked the ads and the strolls. I worked the ads and the strolls. Oh, Cece says, I worked the ads and the strolls. My trans mom didn't play. Even though I think she meant to teach me a tool to where I could make money in this like it took coin to get where you wanted to get. Yes, CC, you and I grew up together, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember your transition. I remember how important it was for you. Michaela says, okay, I have another question. How do we get the girls of trans experience to get over social anxieties? Some girls are deadly afraid to go out in the daytime. I have gotten over this mostly. So Michaela suffers from it herself. What a great question. I should probably put a trigger warning here. I wish I had the technology to have trigger warning going across the screen. because I'm sure somebody's going to have a lot to say about this at some point in time. But for now, we're going to say what we have to say. China, starting with you. How can we get girls to get, as a matter of fact, well, go ahead, China, go ahead.
What was the question again?
How can we get girls, how can we get girls of trans experience to get over, and I don't want to, let me rephrase that. I don't want to say get over their trans anxieties, their social anxieties. I would rather say get through their trans anxieties. I mean, their social anxiety. How can we help them get through their social anxieties and get them to feel more confident enough to go out into the public during the daytime? She also went on to say some girls are deathly afraid to go out in the daytime. She said she herself has mostly gotten over this.
Okay. In the experience that I have had, it takes almost a lifetime to have that confidence. Because you always have in the back of your mind, even me, and being in the public eye, because I'm always in the public eye, it's always in the back of your head, maybe this person know, maybe this person looked at me this way, maybe this person know this. But most of the time, it's ourself. It's our low self-esteem of ourself, how we see ourselves, that make us feel like we cannot go out in the daytime. Everyone in transitions at different levels. It doesn't mean just because this girl have this done and you have that done, that doesn't mean that you can't go into the daytime. To me, it's have to be self-confidence in yourself of how you see yourself when you go out into the daytime. But it will always be that little thing in the back of your head that says, maybe this person knows, maybe that person knows. So we have to get on ourselves as what I believe.
Absolutely. Dysphoria is a very real thing. Latravius, coming at you.
Well, I agree with everything that China said. It takes a lifetime to be confident enough to feel empowered enough to not care what people are saying, what they're thinking, or how they feel about the situation. And when you get to that point, the rest of it won't matter. But you have to build that confidence and keep reminding yourself that this is you. Everything you're doing in your transition is for you. You have to make sure it's for you, and you will gain the power to not give a damn. Because whether you're perfect or you're the worst beast in the world, people are going to talk about you. That's what people do. That's what their mouths are for. They have something to say, and it's going to be positive sometimes, and it's going to be negative sometimes. Even when you're at your best, a person can still be negative. So you have to get way past all that and understand that it's life, and let people say whatever they're going to say, and you keep living for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just to piggyback off what both of the ladies said, I agree 100%. I would say that because I have a lot of very close friends. As a matter of fact, one of my best friends is watching right now, and I think she's still on. I'm not going to mention her name, but she knows exactly who she is. She has been my sister for many years. We grew up together. We started transitioning together. And I love her to death. And over the years, she grew a social anxiety that has really taken over her life in a lot of ways. And she knows it. She recognizes it and she admits to it. And it was so bad that it prevented her from coming to my wedding. You know, that was a very hurtful thing for me because she and I, like I said, we grew up together. We started transitioning together. But the thing that made me be able to get over that and understand it was getting a better understanding of social anxiety. And I think that it's very difficult for me to say, I've never experienced what you're going through, but you should just go ahead and get over whatever it is that you're going through. And let's move on. That's kind of just like what we were talking about earlier with when we were talking about race. Like I wholeheartedly am one of those people. Listen, so I'll tell you guys a little something, and maybe you guys can get a better understanding of who or how I am. So as you guys know, I'm a minister. I'm a reverend, ordained, and I have been in environments where I have been there to preach or to preach alongside someone or to speak or something like that. And someone, of course, and it's been in a secular, in a a traditional type of setting, and someone has always, wanted to say something that was out of the way or say something. We all know how that goes in a church setting. And I have always said that I will never speak about what it's like to lust. You'll never catch me on a podium in anybody's church or anybody's setting preaching about lust against women. And you know why? Because I have never lusted against women, cisgendered women. So I don't know what that's like. So how am I going to sit on a podium and preach to you about what that's like if I don't know? So in the same sense, I put that on what we're talking about here with social anxiety. I personally choose not to say, this is what you need to do, because I don't know. I've never experienced that. I'm not a doctor. And I mean, ladies, like I said, what you ladies said was absolutely right. And there is no wrong answer, of course. But for me, because I've learned to understand my best friend more, honestly, it was my sister, my longtime sister, that I was able to learn that lesson. And like I said, something that I say on this show all the time is that I learn something new every day. Every week on this show, I learn something new and I gather something new. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
I think when we were coming up, one of the things that we did, and while you were saying that you've never really experienced the social anxiety, and I could probably agree with that theory, is because we supported each other. And it was like, if you saw that your sister was having a problem going out in the daytime, you encouraged her to do it.
Right.
And, you were like, well, girl, let's go together.
Right. And you made sure she was on point.
Right. And it's just not cute.
Mm-hmm.
The girl who's afraid to go outside in the daytime in our groups. And I'm not saying that was the best way to approach it. It's just what we use to get past it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree. And I think that let me add to this too. And I guess I should have another trigger warning going across the screen, but I want to add to this too. So I want to also say though that I think a lot of times what a lot of girls mistake as social anxiety is more so dysphoria. And I think that a lot of us girls, all of us girls go through dysphoria. Believe me, this is not how Tiara looks. As soon as this motherfucking camera go off, this hair goes in that chair over there, this shirt come off, this bra come off, and I'm just raw me walking around my house. And there are days that I don't want to go check my mailbox. I don't want to put on all this shit to go check my mailbox. So there are days that my dysphoria won't let me do that. I'd rather sit here and let that check sit in the mail before I put on all of this to go, you know what does that make any sense? You girls understand what I mean? So like, I think that a lot of times dysphoria is more so what a lot of girls are experiencing. Now, believe me, social anxiety is definitely real. But I believe that there's a confusion a lot of times between social anxiety and dysphoria. And I think a lot of girls experience more dysphoria. And that's something that you can overcome. And the only way that you can do that is by becoming confident in yourself. And if that means moaning the fuck out of yourself until you get the desired look, then moan the fuck out of yourself. Do it the right way. Go see a doctor. But if that's what that means for you, then that's what that means for you. Now, I do not in any way, shape, or form promote illegal silicone injections. But if plastic surgery and surge is your thing and that's the look that you're achieving, then go and do that. And that's what's going to defeat the dysphoria. Because at the end of the day, I believe that dysphoria is always going to be there. You ladies agree? Awesome. So listen, guys, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you all so much for watching. I think we're going to wrap it up. It's been a great show. It's been a long show. I want to do this again. Definitely, ladies. If you guys will come back again and visit me and we can have more conversations about many different things. It has been a pleasure to have you ladies on the show. I always ask this question before we end the show, so today's no different. I want to know if you could, well, now that we're here and we have viewers, and we have a good little number of viewers that has been here for the whole duration of the show, which is awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. But if there is someone that's watching right now that needs a word of encouragement, or a young trans individual that is looking for something better in their life, or looking to improve or advance in their transition, what would you have to say to them right now? Latravius, let's start with you.
I would tell any young person of new experience to start with working on yourself and your insecurities and start with self-reflection, because the best thing you can do for yourself through your transition is work on you. Don't let the idea of keeping up with others, of trying to impress others, of trying to prove something to others guide your transition. Transition into who you are and who you want to be. There are so many transgender women who have so many regrets now because they were chasing some body shape or some look that somebody told them was right for them, or they saw on somebody else they thought was the look for them, and then they are unhappy in their lives with who they have become and who they have transitioned into. Focus on being the person that you want to be, whether that's with breast implants or face work or none of that shit at all.
Amen.
Amen.
And China, I'm coming to you, and I just want to say I thank you so much for being on the show. This idea, I want to let our viewers know, the idea for this show actually came from China. The day that she graduated, or maybe it was the day after she graduated, she messaged me. She's like, "Listen, we need to do a show on education." And I was like, ding! And then I had just reached out to Latravius about another show, but that didn't work out. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like that's the perfect show for her. So I was so glad that she decided to come on here. So that, China, thank you so much for this idea. That we have some amazing comments about the show, and I'm going to get to you about your statement, but I just want to read this. The people are saying, awesome show tonight, best show in town, amazing show tonight. We're getting lots of hand claps. It's a great, guys. This has been an amazing show. It really has. But going to you, China, tell me. What would you say to that person?
To that person, just self-reflect. Like my sister said, self-reflect. Know thyself. Believe in yourself. And get amongst people who want the same things as you want. That's also a key. You can't, if I don't want to be nothing, you can't want to be something if I don't want to be something, and we friends. Birds of a feather flock together. That is an old saying, and it's true. You got to have goals to push me if I can push you. But if you sit there and don't want nothing in life, how can I help you? So do a self-check, check your friend list, and find out who's going places and who's not going places. And then you'll be a better person. And then you can reach out to the next generation so they can be a better person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Tonight I'm going to answer that question too. I want to say that don't stop dreaming. Whatever you see for yourself, don't stop dreaming and keep running towards it, because there is nothing that is unachievable to you. You're able to do it if you go forward. And there are all types of directions. But Kayla, I want to speak directly to you right now and let you know that I'm glad that this show has encouraged you. And I hope that it has at least given you a little bit of something to move to the next level, because I say it all the time, where we are is not the end of our story. We're still here, and every morning that we wake up with breath inside of us, there's so much more that we can be doing. So continue to run the race. Don't give up. Fight, resist, whatever it is that you feel that you're being led to do. Do it, because at the end of the day, the only try that goes to the side of the road is the one that was never taken, you know? So I'm so grateful again, ladies, for you guys being here. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Yes, I would love to come back and do it again. I want to congratulate you on the show. I've been watching it here and there. I enjoyed the episode with Mulan. I enjoyed the episode with Giselle, and I want to say thank you for inviting me, and I would love to come back.
Thank you so much, and you will definitely be back. Believe me, I'm gonna be up in your DM tomorrow. We're gonna figure something out because I want us to. I also want to talk a little bit about treatment and stuff too. So we'll talk about that. I'll get with you for sure. Thank you so much for being here, Travis, and also gosh, China. China, thank you so much for being here. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I'd also like to congratulate you on your show. Since the day I met you, I seen a spirit in you that's just a light, and we just connect. We just connect through mutual friends, dealing with the puppies being dropped off.
Yes. My baby.
Ever since then, we just been like sisters. We'll speak every now and then, but it's always a warm hello. And I would love to come back on the show, and I think you're doing a great deed for the trans community with this show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That means so much. And that's exactly what I did it for. And that's why I'm doing it. That's why I fight through it and I get it done. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you guys again so much for being here. Cece says, Cece, Latravis, if you're still here, Cece says she loves her some you. And Vivian says she had an amazing time tonight. Great conversation. She learned a lot. All right, ladies, thank you so much. You guys can end your calls at any point in time. Bye. Thanks again for coming by. Hey, so guys, viewers, thank you guys so much for watching again, as usual. What an awesome, awesome show tonight. I feel great leaving out of here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Last week, I felt a little bit defeated. I had House of Representative Carlos Smith on, and I blundered through things. It had been a action-packed week, and I was like, And so I feel like I kind of blew things last week. But it was... but this show made up for that. And I was so grateful for having Mr. Smith on. He will be back on again. I got to bring him and his husband back on because we need to talk about this engagement. So look out for that. I'm going to see if I can get them back on soon because I want to know about this engagement and the wedding. And I hope I get an invitation, but I probably won't. So anyways, so next week, guys, remember, tune in. Special time next week, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we're going to have Miss Continental 2017. Miss Chantel DeMarco will be right here, and we're going to have an intimate interview with her. You'll be able to ask some questions and interact through the comments as always. And also, we have on November the 4th. Well, I'm sorry. So the next weekend would be the 28th. On the 28th of October, we're going to be having Trans Attraction Part 2. We'll be back here. You guys remember Trans Attraction Part 1? It was such a great show. So many people sent me messages asking me to bring it back. So we are bringing it back on the 28th. So they will be here again, the same exact panel. That's on the 28th. And then on November 4th, I am so pleased to announce that we will have your current reigning Miss Continental 2018, Miss Stasha Sanchez is going to be on the show. I can't even begin to tell you guys how excited I am about that. Stasha has an incredible story of triumph, how she got to be Miss Continental 2018, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear that story. It'll also be the first time that I'm hearing it, minus the pre-show interview that we'll have, but I'm super excited to hear that. So if you guys know anything about it, she's tried and tried for a very long time. Good night, Nikki. I love you. Good night, Cece. I love you guys. Good night, good night, good night. I love you guys for watching. I love you guys for being here. Make sure you get your Wiz tickets, www.lavariusslaughter.com/tickets. The Wiz, December 8th at the Wekiva Springs or Wekiva Piedmont Performing Arts Center. Wekiva Performing Arts Center. Something like that. But you can get your tickets at www.lavariusslaughter.com/tickets. They're still on sale. 2 o'clock show, 7 o'clock show. Come to the 7 o'clock show. come to the 7 o'clock show. But they're both going to be awesome shows. So we love you guys. We love you for watching. I love you for watching. I'm about to go and grub out and find my husband who disappeared a while ago. So he's probably back in the room passed out. Or playing video games. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you for watching. I love you guys for being here. You guys are so silly. Bye. Vivian, I love you. Cece, I love you. Nikki, I love you. Michaela, I love you. Each and every last one of you viewers. I love you. I love you. I love you. Bye, guys. Have a great night. Bye.